Yo, what's up, guys? It's Mad Money. Got a 2010 Hummer H3 here. Got some nice tires on there. I'm gonna be doing a brake job. Brake pads all the way around, and rotors up front, and possibly rotors in the back if they need them. Like I said, this is a 2010 H3. I'm gonna try to jack this thing up. This thing sits up pretty high. We'll get this thing jacked up here and get it going, and probably be doing an oil change today also. We got the oil and filter depending on how long the brake job takes, maybe about an hour or so. Then we'll get under there and change this oil and filter also. So gonna go through the steps. It's got disc all the way around, so just swapping out the pads is very easy. Taking off the rotors, very simple task. We'll make a little video here for those of you who need help with your H3, changing the brakes and the rotors on these vehicles here. All right, guys, so the jack on this thing is back here in the back hatch. I like to use the factory jack. It's not the greatest for the height of the vehicle, but I have a little jack like that I picked up at AutoZone, and it's a 2-ton jack, which would be fine, but it doesn't go that high. So I use this one here with a little bit of assistance. We pull these 2 tabs, we pull this out, and that exposes the jack there. And take this off. This jack is gonna fall out of here. So I'm gonna get it all unwrapped and I'll get it to the side of the vehicle. So we got it out from the back. Lift up these tabs here. You'll release the jack. So releasing the jack. There it is, your factory jack. And then you have left behind in this case, you have some tools here, help you out. You got your breaker bar. This tool here is going to go inside the hole and assist you to twist, like so, to lift the jack up and down. And then you have a couple extra bars in here to help extend this out. So you can put all these together to extend them, to make them longer for you, depending on how deep you need to actually get underneath the truck. Height wise, I'm not sure on the stock height, but since we got the taller tires on here and the meatier tires, it is a little bit higher. So I use a couple little pieces of cinder block and a piece of wood, and I put the jack on top. I slide it pretty far in there to the frame, and then with it extended out with the attachments, then I start cranking on it to lift the vehicle up there. So that's the way that I do it. I'll get it underneath there, get it slid, and we'll get this tire off here. All right, so we got the wheel off now, exposing the brake caliper. As you can see, there's 2 pins there, and there's a lower pin. It's got a little cotter pin in the back, and there is a upper pin there. Removing those will release the brake pads, but since we are going to be replacing the rotors, we will have to remove this bolt here, and there's one at the bottom to this bolt right here, to remove the whole caliper off of the rotor. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. We'll loosen those up, get this brake caliper pulled off, check out these rotors, slap the new ones on. Okay, so after you remove those 2 bolts there, the ones that I pointed out before, you will be able to remove your brake caliper. The brake pads will remain in there because I did not remove the pins that were on the opposite side. So you have to remove those pins there. Those are your hardware that's holding in your brake pads to the caliper. So I'm gonna get this caliper off. I'm gonna get that pin out of there and get them brake pads out of there, replace that hardware, throw this new rotor on here. Okay, so one key thing while taking off these rotors, which I had forgotten in the beginning. As you can see, I got hammer marks in this rotor here, trying to get this puppy off of there. But I remember last time that I replaced these, there are 2 places where your studs are not, that has a threaded hole. What you're gonna want to do with that is screw in 2 bolts, and as you screw the bolts in here, it pushes on the inside and actually pushes the rotor out towards you. So you're gonna want to tighten those up one at a time, tapping this one out a little bit, and then coming to this one, and then coming back to this one, until you ultimately get the rotor off of the hub. This is, like I said, one thing that I forgot about and remembered when I seen the holes, but I started beating on it to release the rotor before I actually remembered that. So this may give you guys some headaches, but if you watch the video, hopefully you're watching this video before you actually get out, take your tire off, take the caliper off. Hopefully you have something that can fit in here. I'm not exactly sure on what size it is, but I had a couple bolts laying around that I was able to get in there. And as soon as I tightened them up, instantly the rotor started backing out towards me. And it was very easy for it to come out. As you can see, I put some DW40 on here to try to loosen that up around the hub there, and hit it with a hammer multiple times, but that will not get the job done. So do not waste your time, risk getting injured. The proper way is to screw something into these 2 slots here, 2 screws, and then backing the rotor out. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, hopefully you guys watch this video before you get the action going. But so now with the rotor off, we'll put the new one on. I still have to get up there and get those pins out of that caliper so we can get them brake pads out of there and get the new ones in there. I pulled these pins out of these cotter pins out of the pin here, as you can see, and I'm using an Allen key or something smaller than the pin to knock that back. So I'm using a hammer. I'm gonna be pushing the pin all the way back through, and I'm gonna do that on the top pin and the bottom pin to release these brake pads. It may be a little bit easier to do this while you have them still on the vehicle, on the rotor, because they'll be stationary. I did it this way so you guys can get a better view, a better angle of what exactly I'm doing here. So when I do the other side, I will take the brake pads off before I get the rotor off, but in this way you guys can see what's going on here and what has to be done. So you have to push those pins all the way through. A little bit of lube would help, I'm sure, some DW40 or any type of penetrating oil that you would like to put on those to get these pins backed out. I took this out with just a set of pliers. Pull these pins out. Once I get these all the way out, change the brake pads, put the pins back in. This will go back in, and this holds the pin in place for you. So that's where I'm at so far. I'll continue on getting those out. We'll get the new brake pads in there for you. Okay, we got the caliper back bolted on. Brand new rotor, calipers back on, new brake pads are slid in. Got those in there. We try to make sure that we got that hole lined up all the way through so we can get the pin back in there for the bottom and the top pin. Gonna put them pins back through, put the cotters on the other side, the little pins through them, and that's pretty much it. Get the tire back on, we'll move to the other side, but basically that's it. It is a tough job if you don't know what you're doing, or if it's your first time, which is the reason why I like YouTube, is because these informational videos are so good and they help you through the steps, give you little tips, things that you might not really think about as your first or second time doing things. And it's not worth getting injured or breaking something, costing yourself more money. So these videos are good. These videos are good. You guys can watch me go through it, watch other people go through it, the different tips and tricks that they use to get these brake calipers off, change the brakes, change the rotors. It's a big help. So make sure you guys like the video. If you want, leave a comment at the bottom. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, Mad Money 0828, and we'll see you next time.